Hi everyone. So today I have two of my good friends and colleagues here, and I'll let them do their own introductions. So we are going to have a small discussion on the field of design and certain points to keep in mind for new students who are going to join design or who are stepping into the Bachelor of Design program. Let's start with the people, their introductions, and let's take it from there.
Hi everyone, I am Shivaram. Basically, I'm an architect by profession. So in my journey, I have architect turned to urban and rural planner. Over to that, where currently I'm working on an area where there is an intersection between design, architecture, and urban planning. So, in short, right now I'm very new to academics, and also I'm exploring the academics along with the practice. So I think I'll give it over to Mrudul.
Hi, I'm Mrudul. I'm a product designer and also have a bachelor's in mechanical engineering. So that's a natural progression for an engineer to be a product designer. I'm enjoying my role and time as an educator along with these beautiful people over here. I'm also learning from them, and I hope that they are also learning something from me. So let's
Yeah,
carry
so
on to this.
exactly. I think so. This discussion and all the discussions that we had, it was being people from different fields, from product, from transportation, from architecture, urban planning, and now interior. It's interesting that although we come from very diverse fields, but in education there are a lot of similarities, and we are able to come to a single point while we discuss certain matters. And I think it is also important for students who join the first year as a foundation batch, and then they get the choice to choose from various disciplines according to each college. So some colleges have programs, some have interior, fashion, and so on. But so that's why where we were thinking to discuss about whichever discipline a student chooses, the basics of design remain the same. And I think this cohort of people and their perspectives on this specific topic is what we are trying to explore here today. So, what were some of the challenges that you faced as a student, and what are some of the challenges that today's students are facing and coming out with flying colors?
Yeah, I think that's a good start to start with. Traditionally, like you already said, all the disciplines these days, irrespective of you get into a product design or you get into interior design or architecture, the society is moving towards an approach of problem solving where we have bigger goals. So just like for example, we have sustainable development goals wherein we have an ambition of maybe net zero emissions or maybe conservation of water or reducing the pollution and considering the environmentally friendly procedures or processes to put in place in the entire design process, be it in architecture or in the projection of master plans for cities. So all the goals are common. So in a way, somewhere down the line, the thing that we are trying to achieve is similar. So there could be a possibility of overlap of the ambitions, irrespective of the department or irrespective of the course that students are trying to do these days. And traditionally, in order to practice various professions, to gain any skill, it would have been a big setback for the people to learn that skill, to find effective resource persons, and then try to implement those skills and to excel in the profession. But today, like the society has developed so much, we have online YouTube as a resource, or you have Udemy or sites like Coursera, where people can get those or get adapt to that skills very easily. So someone said like all you need is like 20 hours
Yes.
to get that proficiency in that skill. You practice for 22 hours continuously. That's all it is needed. That sums to around a week of practice in that skill. So gaining skill is not anymore in the picture. I think it's the bigger idea or the ambition of achieving something for a productive future or for a good future. So that's where I come in the struggles. The second point that you are arguing about the struggles of being a student. So what I faced, I think today's students also face the similar problem. You suddenly you are interested into some new topic, and then you feel that I think this topic is, or this kind of area of expertise is not good enough to get into, because we generally don't know about that particular area of expertise. For example, when I was in architecture, I was interested into more of a structural analysis of buildings, and then most of the times I presumed things like, this is not my job.
Okay.
It is structural engineer's job. Or if I am interested into sustainable building materials, or in terms of conservation of our natural architecture, for example. So when I got in there, then it was a notion that it is something which doesn't give you bread and butter to practice. But then slowly these things have been becoming a priority.
Okay.
And similar to that, most of the architects, I think, they also face this problem of identifying themselves, getting those soft skills, like for all these software skills. Through that practice, they might build the interest towards UI UX, but they never seek that as a profession because of the less knowledge that we have that this might be a career.
Some kind of myth also associated.
Right. So, and there is this big fear back of the head all the time. What happens if I shift my stream, to UI UX? All of a sudden, what would people say? Or there is no mentorship sometimes. So, I think this is also a very important critical point. In academia, most of the times, mentorship plays a critical role.
Yes.
So now that I am teaching, so I see myself in the students. So it's my responsibility to identify the skills of the students and then guide them properly. Yes, this is what you are looking for. Because of our experience till now, we have experienced various other fields. So in my case, I have experienced architecture, interiors, then I went to urban and rural planning. Then somewhere now I realize, like, all of the things are aiming for a similar goal to achieve. So, and in the process, I have been exposed to several other domains also, where people are excelling in their respective streams. As an academician, I think now I realize how important a mentorship is. So, for example, if I would have realized that there is a big stream called UI UX, which will pay you well, I might have not ended up practicing my profession. I don't regret practicing my profession, but still, I think today's students might also struggle about, fixing their stream.
Yes.
And the other problem that I also identified is when we were students also, we were scared to experiment and get into other domains and see how effective we are or how interested we are. So they say, unless you try it out, you don't know whether you really like it or you have a good hand in it. So that is what I think now we have to guide our students also to experiment as much as possible, so that you can find a niche. And today out there, I don't think there are boundaries as such.
Yes.
Anyone can enter anywhere. So I think that is it. I think it have answered.
So I think it is. I mean, lot of points that we always talk about, and all the streams kind of merging together, diverging, converging at all points, and I think sometimes many of the things that we experience as students, that we see the same things or similar things among today's students, but it has its differences, it has its similarities, and also like place where our alma mater is, we pursue things, and we used to, if you don't know something, we used to go and learn about that. And I think that is something that Mrudul would like to give light into, because we thoroughly enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And how is that relating to what students are experiencing today?
first I would like to acknowledge and borrow certain points or reiterate certain points that Shiva had beautifully put forward. Is having a larger vision, because society is moving towards a better future. Now, society or global power is not looking for what my country needs, but what the world needs. So they have, passed that boundary of me to us. And when, as a young student, when I was a young design student, I used to like, okay, today what I have to learn. What is the industry today? I always used to think about if I go to industry today, but that's a myth. I'm supposed to join the industry 3 years down the line. If I have to join the industry in the future, I have to think about the future. I have to think about what the industry's requirement would be 3 years down the line. And that is something.
I think this is one point that I would like to emphasize very strongly to all the people or students or people who want to join design to focus on, because you will always be coming out of the college after in a bachelor's program after 4 years, a master's program in 2.5 to 1.5 years. So and keeping this in mind is very, very important. Yes.
Thank you for that. And as Shiva mentioned, that skill or acquiring a skill is not a big thing in today's world. And just to build upon that is, you don't need always to be a master of that skill, because you already have AI as a friend. Don't consider, I personally prefer AI is not an enemy, it's just a friend, it's just a tool. How do we use it? How do we use it to make our design processes more efficient, as flawless as possible, so that you tend to focus on, or you should focus on, the larger vision, as he was talking about sustainability, net zero emissions, and few of those. But as the world is moving forward, we are also kind of getting apart from lot of cultural, socio-economic differentiation that is happening, and how as a designer we can create an impact through our design, be it a product design, be it space design, be it fashion that you are designing. How can we be more sensitive, more empathetic towards the changing scenario? Because when I was a student, the rate of change was comparatively slower. Now it is changing like anything. Every single day you open news, like AI has done this, the country is moving like this, there is a new invention, there is a new startup. If the environment, if the national scenario has been changing so rapidly, how do we position ourselves? So we as a designer also be very dynamic. And that's where I feel there are certain skills that I personally have learned, and I have seen this people, is hands-on skill. Because hands-on skill is something you go out there in workshop, you make something in 3 dimensional, you think 3D, and that would help a student, or at least is helping me in a long way. Okay, because all those digital or visual AI-based creation softwares are 2D. That keeps your mental canvas 2D. The moment, as you said, if I don't know anything, I'll go to my senior. Hey, you know what? I'm struggling here. It's like, okay, come, let's go to workshop. Let's figure it out. So I think so that level of interaction with the student beyond that 2 dimensional screen should be encouraged, and that environment should be created. Another thing I feel is uh, the interdisciplinariness that we talked about. Now it is no longer an option. It should be mandatory. Whereas the borders between interior designer cannot come and do product design, that the borders are long gone, because that's the question that you started with.
Yes.
How it's design is a process.
Yes.
So I also believe design is a process, and everything revolves around the process. And the beauty of this design process is you can plug in a lot of small tools that kind of modifies that process according to the need for interior design. a certain part of the process are changed, introducing certain tools, certain skill set. Product design, the same process, the same skeleton is there, but you are just putting into some different organs. It's just so beautiful. If you master the process, no matter the outcome, no matter what you want to build, you would be able to do it. And I think so, working with transportation designer, architecture planner, I was like, wow, there's so much common in us. I would like to give you an example of last semester we had systems design module for sixth semester.
Oh, that was
And
exciting.
that was something where product design or this we kind of pull in all the different people from different discipline. So Shiva, I got to work with Shiva, Pratheek, and how different perspective, how a planner, urban and rural planner look at the system, the way they look at the system, and the way product designer look at the system, the way transportation designer look at the transportation system. Wow, there is such, on a core level they are common, but there are so many differentiating factors. Yet they are common at the soul.
I think at this point, what the kind of similarity I felt is like whenever you learn any kind of instrument, or and I guess someone goes to learn an instrument, you learn the basics, you learn the scales, and then you are set to go. So
Yeah.
in design also, I feel if you learn well the basics of design and master it, uh, and you understand it and you live it day by day in and day out, you live that kind of lifestyle. So it sets you up to look at the world differently from a different or with a different glass. And I think that basics will always help you, whatever field you kind of choose to go for. And in this, just to add to the point that Mrudul was saying about seeing 2D or seeing a two-dimensional screen where you are making things, where I used to design boards, and you make it in a 15-inch screen, but when you go to the production facility, it's a huge, it's almost 7 meters by 2 meters in height, and then you realize how big are the changes that you see. In case of Shiva, if he when he is building plants and houses, that's also pretty small in the screen, but you know the size of a building, how huge it can be. And in terms of when Mrudul, if he is designing a watch, he's designing the internals. They look big on the screen, but in reality they are really small. So to experience scale, experience really what it is, and I think that is where we should be really as designers, going and playing with those materials. I think that is what we heard from our mentors and seniors and everyone. Just go explore, you break things, you kind of make mistakes. So it's only when we make a mistake is when we learn, and that stays with us for life. And that's how I feel that's how you also kind of learn the process in your own way. So there are no set paths. There are a set of directions probably that we as educators will try to provide the students, and the journey to take is always yours. So Shiva, on that.
So adding on to your point and as well as Mrudul's point, that we were discussing about the multidisciplinary intersections, where before getting into the exercises that I had an opportunity to work with you guys in systems. So my idea about the design process was a bit different. So suddenly we realized that when you have a multidisciplinary approach towards a problem or towards innovation, there is a heavy reinforcement from the ideation or from the innovation side, where there are very less chances of doing mistakes. So there are different perspectives coming together, and I think it will make the life of the designer easy, and as well as it's a win-win situation for all the multiple stakeholders who are involved in the process. And to come to the point about skill or the things that we were discussing about 2D, 3D, hand skills and all of that. So I personally feel I completely agree how all this practical experience is needed. So that is where I say that design cannot happen in a closed room
Closed room,
with,
yes.
with a paper or with a laptop or a computer software. Until unless an architect goes and see how building is built and he experiences the physical entity from all of his through all of his senses, then only he can try to relate what he has designed and what has been articulated on site. Similar to that, even in I think in the case of product design also. So
Yes,
you guys try to design, you try to sketch, and then only you see that prototype, or you experience that first prototype or functional prototype that you have. You get that essence of what you are designing, and then what is coming out to be as an output. Right. So for that to happen also, so these are all the small enablers, be it sketching, be it ideation, be it the soft skills that a design student needs. So my perspective towards that is also there are a lot of things that runs through your brain when you think about a innovation or an idea. But then I remember sometimes Mrudul saying, we as humans, we have limitations of thinking, not more than 5 windows or 10 windows at a time. Right. So that's where I think this pen, paper, pencil, paper, all of these things will help us jotting down the ideas that we have onto the paper or onto softboards that we are trying to put up or onto the screens that we have. So these days we have digital boards like Miro boards, Figmas, all of these things which are enablers for us to ease our jobs, not to forget certain important key points in the journey of design. So I think that kind of skill is necessary, which will stay with all of us all our life. So when I design buildings, I start putting zones or bubble diagrams or all the program analysis activities, area mapping. Similar to that, you guys have a different set, but the skeleton, as you mentioned, is same. But the process might be a bit different of how we see things in the design process. So I think that answers what you have asked.
That's totally covers it. So I think Mrudul, from our experience, what all would be certain very few, let's keep it 3 advice that you would give to a new student who is joining the design program, be it bachelor's. I think let's keep it bachelor's for now. That's when it is. The students have just done their 12th standard or a pre-diploma or something and are landing in a totally different field. So what would be your 3 pieces of advice for them to understand? And I think that's something our viewers would also be really interested in.
Okay. So the first advice I would like to give the student is explore as in, I know when you are choosing a design discipline, let's say it's a product design or photography design, because you have the clarity, you selected it. That's good to have a clarity, but just because you have selected product design or photography design, that does not mean you have to live that life for the rest of your life. That does not mean that learning skill beyond what has been scripted in your syllabus won't help you. The reason is I usually give my students example. What is your favorite chocolate? Is it Dairy Milk? Bubbles. What Dairy Milk bubbles?
Yeah,
Silk bubbles. Okay, how many chocolates you have tasted? Sir, I think so 20, 30. So your favorite chocolate is Dairy Milk Silk Bubble only because you have only tasted 20. There are hundreds and thousands of chocolate. The moment you test that, you might change your favorite chocolate. That's why be open. You are making that selection. You have the clarity based on whatever you have experienced till that point. So clarity, yet ability to explore. The first advice. Second is, I think so you should have a lot of good friends from all the other discipline, not just in designing but beyond design, because what we are learning here also is the moment we are having friends from business side, we are having friends from technical side, we are having friends from engineering, art side. There is so much more to it because design cannot happen in isolation. Even if I make a product, It has to go out there in the market. A marketing guy would do the job. He's going to tell the story of the product that I have designed. A salesperson is going to go out there and sell it. Unless we don't know what they are thinking, how they perceive the world, it's very difficult. We would design again, that would be more in isolation. So that would be a good life skills to have. And the third is, I think you should enjoy it's cliche, enjoy the process, but I would say enjoy the moment. If you're working in group or working on a project, don't think, oh, this is a project, 3 days I have to work, this is a submission. Don't do it for submission. I request. Enjoy that 3 days of work. Whatever comes out is a byproduct of you enjoying that process.
I think that's very well put. So, what would be three from your side?
So one of them is common with Mrudul. Like he explained, you have to be ready to explore, explore more. I think a design school is like a blank canvas when the students enter into the university, and as a design school, we will have different resources that will enable design students to explore themselves. Be it the faculty, be it the workshops, be it the briefs that we give, be it the challenges that we give them. That's the first thing that you always have to be ready to explore. And the second thing is the design field itself is very different when compared to the traditional fields such as engineering and other job-based professions. So design, in which traditionally a design student is supposed to explore and identify who he is. The journey of entire bachelor course on design would enable the student to understand who that character is, what his persona is. So I think that is very crucial for them also. And do not any time pursue design course as to be a course which will give you a job at the end. Most of it is oriented towards building a character, personality, and society-ready professionals who can provide employment and also work for the bigger goals of the society or the bigger goals globally. So, in that process, there are several steps in which the student gets to acquire skills like entrepreneurship skills, or how do you sell your ideas, how to identify the problems, how to work on those problems, how to give a optimum solutions that are required, not more, not less. So all of these things will be there in the entire process. And I think it's a beautiful journey that any design student who is aspiring to change the world, or who wants to understand who he is. It's similar to like the Isha courses where you try to understand your linear engineering, but it is a stressed 4-year course where everyone will get that opportunity. All the students who are aspiring to be designers, they'll get that opportunity to understand who they are. I think that's the second point. And last but not the least, but you be ready to face the struggles and all the hard work and pain.
Sleepless nights also.
Yes. So that's it from my side.
So I think it has been really exciting, this talk, at least for us to discuss among ourselves, among all the million talks that we had among ourselves. But I thought we should be doing something like this, and I hope it has been enjoyable for you. And if you have any questions for us, please do comment about that. If you are people who are nearby us, you can come and approach us at any time. You know that. So do comment, and if you want, our comments and a discussion on some related topic that you always wanted to know, we are ready, right?
Right.
So I think it has been a really interesting talk, and I thank both of you for being here. And I think this session has gone, I think, way beyond what we planned initially. And so thank you for watching, and that is it from me. So bye bye.